Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Supernatural, episode 1221, titled There's Something About Mary, which premiered Thursday, May 11th, 2017 on the CW. I'm recording on May the 17th, so it's been a few days since the episode aired, though. So with that said, huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, go do so first, then come back and hear what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen right now. Take a moment to read those over. Otherwise, let's start with the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, it's been 2 days since Mary left that message to Dean via voicemail before she was attacked. So that gives us a little bit of time. So it's probably taken them enough time for them to go back to the bunker and then find out where exactly Mary was last checked in before, because Sam and Dean know that Mary either is out on a hunt, actually in the motels and everything, or she's bunking with the meta letters. So there's that, which moves on to my episode reminder, was the fact that pretty much you can kind of view this episode as Hunters versus the British meta letters, or Americans versus British, the American letters versus the British letters, I guess you would say. But the episode breakdown of the episode, I picked up on two different storylines going on. The major one was dealing with Sam and Dean learning the truth about the British middle letters, and the second one was with Lucifer breaking free of Crowley's control over him. So with the first storyline, though, we get Eileen Leahy's death, which was brought on by Mr. Ketch having control over a hellhound, which is the worst for Eileen because she can't hear the hellhound, and you definitely can't see the hellhound, and since she didn't make a deal, she definitely can't see it coming for her. So guess that's why they picked it for her. But anyways, her death brought the Winchesters, Sam and Dean, to suspect that the British men letters were behind all these mysterious deaths happening over the last few weeks, and they get confirmation of this when Eileen wrote them a letter through snail mail and voiced how she thought she was being watched by the British Mail Letters, especially after she had accidentally killed that Rennie Rawlings member of theirs. So there is that. They also find out by Lady Tony Bevel that Mick is actually dead, and they've learned firsthand that Mary's actually been brainwashed by Lady Tony Bevel's methods, and she's now willingly working with Mr. Ketch for the British. So there's that. Second storyline, though, with Lucifer and Crowley, it shows Crowley's hold on Lucifer being polarized, as they said, and now working in the reverse. So now Lucifer has control over Crowley to the point that any little thing that he did, whether it was making weird facial expressions or doing weird hand movements, Crowley was stuck performing the same as a puppet. So Lucifer is now in control, and we do also see him assert his leadership. Now, the last scene of the episode shows Mary, a brainwashed Mary, leaving with Mr. Ketch as they lock Sam, Dean, and Lady Tony Bevel in the bunker to die, as the British letters have cut off all resources to the bunker, and they have programmed the ventilation to reverse itself, so that it sucks all the air out of the bunker. So Sam and Dean have 2 days to get rid of that, to get out of that. Tidbit-wise, though, we get Crowley has a standing deal with the British Men of Letters that is valid in Britain. He tries to make the same sort of deal in America if the British Men of Letters happen to settle down roots there. We also know that Crowley is the one that gave Mr. Ketch a hellhound, and we also get Mary trying to get Mr. Ketch to kill her when she couldn't do it herself. But he doesn't. He just says it'll all be over soon, which would be the brainwashing taking full effect. And it also looks like the British Men of Letters don't know how to see hellhounds without a deal being made, like Sam and Dean do. Like Sam and Dean created the holy oil glasses, courtesy of Kevin Tran's translations of the Demon Tablet, so they're able to see the hellhounds when they attack them. But the British Men of Letters don't know anything about that, so I'm glad to hear about that. End tally, or the death tally, is we find out in this episode that 7 hunters have been killed over the last 3 weeks. One of them or I don't know if that is including or this is before they get the news that Elaine Leahy was now added to that tally, and she was killed by Mr. Ketch's hellhound. So there's that. Also, we get Crowley killed by Lucifer when he stabs him with an angel blade, but I don't believe he's actually dead because of the fact that if as we know, any demon who's been killed by an angel blade, they always, their insides always light up and they spark out before they finally die. You don't really get that in Crowley's case. You don't get any light leaving his eyes, and literally, because every demon does it. Even the angels have some type of light show accompanied with their death, but this time you don't see it. So I don't really think that Crowley's dead. I think he actually possessed the rat nearby. So there's that, but I guess you could kind of technically count it as a death since they killed his meat suit. So there's that. Also, we get Rick, the hunter in plaid. He was killed by brainwashed Mary, which is kind of sad. I really wanted to learn a little bit more about Rick. Just his entrance onto the show and his introduction really was just, it was interesting, that's for sure. So moving on though, the most shocking moment of the episode, I think it'd have to be the fact that the British Men of Letters successfully converted Mary into one of their own, into their best killer. I mean that's what it looks like from the things. Don't know how much longer that hold over her is going to last, but at this point in time, it looks like they succeeded. So there's that. Now moving on to top 3 favorite moments. First one I have to say was the fact that Sam and Dean figured out that the British Men of Letters were behind the Hunter deaths. And especially when they found the listening devices inside the bunker, they immediately put together a trap for them, and in doing so, they managed to capture Lady Tony Bevel. I really like how the silent communication brings Sam and Dean, how they were trying to piece all these pieces together. They weren't really believing that it was monsters that were taking out these seasoned veteran hunters, and instead, it makes sense actually if Mary was the one that's been doing all these kills, even though she hasn't, technically it can't be since she hasn't been captive for 3 weeks. But it's great to see them finally putting the pieces together and realizing that, oh, these guys that we're supposedly working for are trying to kill us, type thing. So it's just great to see them finally in the know of it. Another favorite of mine was the fact that we got to hear what was inside Elaine's letter to Sam and Dean. The snail mail behind it was kind of a little throwback there, though, but even though it was a depressing notion, the fact that we're hearing about this letter after she has died, it was interesting to read what she would tell the boys. And it kind of reminded me of, like, remember back in season 8 when Kevin ended up sending a time-delayed video to Sam and Dean because he never checked in to put the code in to deactivate it, and the message pretty much says that if you got this, I'm dead, and then he goes on this rant and everything. It kind of reminded me of that, but unlike with Kevin when he was actually alive and just kidnapped, Elaine's actually dead. So it's a little depressing note there, though, but I really like the fact that even though we didn't get to see it grow to this point, but to have the fact that Elaine trusted the Winchesters and grew to have such a rapport with them that she was willing to turn to them, ask for their help, and then to ask if she could bunker with them because she felt safe with them. That is what I liked about the moment. It's such a shame that she's gone, though. She was definitely a cool new add to the Hunter team for us. So there's that. I'll move on, which is my third favorite moment, which was the fact that Lady Tony Bevel is stuck in the same situation that Sam and Dean are. She is left to die in the bunker, which I thought was pretty funny since she was the one that was trying to get Sam and Dean killed, and yet now she's going to need to rely on them in order to get out of there alive, which I hope they don't allow her to do because of all the shit she's put them through. But it's just funny to see that now the people she's trying to kill are the ones that she's going to need to team up with in order to save her own skin. So there's that. Moving on, though, to top 3 peeve moments. First one was the fact that Elaine was killed. I kind of really explained it in just moments ago, but there's that. Another was the fact that Dr. Hess has a deal with the British Men... She has the deal with Crowley. She has a demon deal with Crowley going on. And I didn't like that just because of the fact that, first off, how corrupt does the organization have to be to actually make a deal with demons? I mean, Sam and Dean don't really have that type of a deal, but they do have that type of understanding because of the fact that they have a working relationship with Crowley. But I don't know, for Dr. Hess, it feels different. I don't know. It's just, it feels different. Maybe it's because she's enemies with Sam and Dean, and maybe that's why. But I don't know. I really don't like Dr. Hess for sure. Another thing is peeve was that the British men and letters have control over Mary. Enough said about that. What will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The shootout in the bunker. It was Sam and Dean versus the British men and letters. I actually came across that scene in Tumblr, and to see the gifs repeated of specific moments of that scene were just fantastic. You get to really, it highlights the silent communication between Sam and Dean, what they're capable of doing in such constricting situations, and just to see what lengths they'll go to save each other was pretty awesome. So that moment right there is going to be a huge one. Plus, the season's also been gearing up for that, especially when Dr. Hess announced that they wanted to kill all the American hunters. I've been waiting for the showdown, even though it wasn't the final showdown between the two sets of hunters, but it was like the tee-off mark, if that makes sense. So moving on, though, to random questions, even though timer went off, though. First one, Billy mentioned way back when about the cosmic consequences of breaking her deal would be right before Castiel had killed her. I'm wondering, is Lucifer's baby or the death of all these hunters, could those be considered consequences she was referring to, or did she mean something else? Like actually biblically cosmic, if that makes sense, that would happen. Because if not, we're still waiting for that. It's like, to Billy, what is considered cosmic consequences? Like, is it really actually on a biblical sense, or is it more cosmic in the sense of a person's world falling apart type of thing? So there's that. Another question is, why didn't Sam and Dean change the bunker locks the moment they found the listening devices inside the bunker? I'm still wondering all about that. I mean, instead of going, and once they found the listening devices, I assume some time has passed for them to get to their set trap location, but couldn't they have like spared some moments to just change the locks? Is it even easy to change the locks? I don't even know. But the listening devices should have been a clear sign for them that it's not really safe, especially when this new chapter house has access to your home type thing. So that's just been bugging me about that. And last question, how will they break through Mary's brainwashing? It's not done by any spell, it's done by actual science and technique that they've managed to change. I don't think it's done by a spell, but by research and stuff. So it's going to have to take some really strong, powerful emotion, I would think, or reverse brainwashing, but I'm a little worried about what that process is going to entail. But moving on to predictions, very quickly, based off the promo for 12/22, it's actually a 2-hour finale, so we're actually going to get episode 22 and 23 in the next few days. But the promo shows that Sam and Dean are stuck in the bunker with Lady Tony Bevel as time runs out for them. It also shows Lucifer searching for his son, which brings Castiel back to fight alongside Sam and Dean. And it looks like Mary goes to see Jody Mills. Well, Sam and Dean meeting up with Castiel means they definitely get out of the bunker, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how exactly they do that and whether or not they saved Lady Bevel along the way. Now, based off the synopsis for episode 12/22, it reads that caught in a dangerous situation, Sam and Dean only have each other to rely on. Meanwhile, the fight between the American hunters and the British hunters comes to a head. And the synopsis for 12/23 reads, for the epic season finale, Lucifer battles Sam and Dean and Castiel for control of his unborn child. So 2 very action-packed episodes from the sounds of it. But new questions coming from that. Will Sam and Dean let Tony Bevel leave the bunker with them, or will they let her die because of the trouble she's caused their family? Also, will we actually, many times throughout the season, the British men of letters have referenced the fact that there's a council of elders that they have to report back to. Are we going to actually meet any of them, or are we actually going to face to these to this version of power or regular hierarchy, or however you want to call it? Are we going to learn more about them? Are we going to see them? If not, are they going to be next season's evil? Which I kind of hope they're not, because I kind of want to be done with the British men of letters wanting them killed. Unless, like, the elders didn't want the American hunters to be killed, and that's just Dr. Hess going rogue with that course of action. I'll be okay with that. But if that's the case, it's going to be a lot of trouble for the elders of the British men of letters to try to get the American hunters to trust them again, especially Sam and Dean for sure. But anyways, also I'm going to back up my previous prediction, and that has to do with the fate of Lucifer's child, which it's meant to be born in the season finale. So like I said before, it can go one of two ways. I think it's going to be born either way, and it's just in the fact that what is going to be born is going to be the question. First option I've mentioned before was that the baby's actually born for good, and the vision that Kelly and Castiel saw will come true, or will be on the path to coming true, with it bringing salvation with it. Second option, though, is that the baby's actually born evil, and the vision of Kelly and Castiel that they saw was just a trick to ensure that the baby was born so that it could produce such evil and corruption. I think it's going to go towards this path, because it definitely sets up for the next season, with Sam and Dean struggling over the fact that how do you get rid of such evil when it takes the face of this baby, and they don't kill innocents. They've tried really hard not to do that. And then also you have to go with Kelly, who won't Kelly won't survive the birth either way, so she's out no matter what. But Castiel, if he goes this way, you have him dealing with the fallout of the fact that he trusted in the wrong thing again. He didn't trust in Sam and Dean. In doing so, he ended up siding with the wrong side, even though his heart was in the right place. So he would have to deal with that fallout again. It would definitely prove to be a good way to tee up the next season's villain if the baby ended up turning evil, because then the whole season would be, how do you stop this entity, or is it nature versus nurture type thing? And then you also have Lucifer wanting to raise the child the way he sees fit. So I think that's going to be better. Otherwise, the baby being born good, I could see it having the power to destroy Lucifer, or to at least contain it and put it back in the cage. And then all's right in the world, sunny rainbows and stuff, and the Castiel has to be stuck watching a baby. Or is that going to be 3 men and a baby, because Kelly's not going to be there, and Castiel's going to turn to Sam and Dean to deal with that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see which path the baby storyline goes. But also, speaking of families, we do have to find out whether Mary's brainwashing is permanent or not. That is for sure. I have a bad feeling that Sam and Dean are going to have to kill her in order to stop her from killing one of them. Which is if that happens, that's definitely going to take a toll on whichever brother has to do it. But there's that. Otherwise, I'm still waiting for Winchester to kill Mr. Ketch. He has to die this season. Like, seriously, he has to go. For sure. And either brother will do. Hugely hoping for Mary, since she was duped by Ketch and turned into this thing she never wanted to become. She never wanted to lose her own will. So there's that, and I guess we have to wait and see. It's just a few days since I'm recording this, so I don't have to wait that long, though. But what did you guys think of the what did you guys think of the one episode? I'm talking about two now, though. What did you think of it? What do you like about it? And what do you think is going to happen in the 2-hour finale? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, predictions about all of that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. The work in progress. I'm a little behind, but I'm going to be catching up shortly after I'm updated on posting these videos. But go check that out. It's also connected to my WordPress account. It's a little more organized, but it's still a work in progress, so keep that in mind when you check it out. Also, if you want a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, check out my Livejournal entry for the episode. The link for that is down below. It's a detailed recap as I watched the episode for the first time, including my in-moment thoughts and questions that popped up while I saw it. It's a great way to keep things organized for me, to remember certain little small details that I may have oversaw later down the line. So if they help for you, great, thrilled. If not, I hope you still check it out just to see if it's your type of thing. But otherwise, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to hear what I have to say about the 2-hour finale. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.